Okay, good morning, everyone. Doug's here. We can start. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces. What a glorious day. I'm Sarah Benson. We're going to get started with a couple of songs. If you would like to stand, you may. If not, sing from your seats.
I am a light in this world. I am a light in this world. And I shine so bright. And I shine so bright. You are a light in this world. You are a light in this world. And you shine so bright. And you shine so bright. We are a light in this world. We are a light in this world. And we shine so bright. 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 Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, the tools that we create with. Our thoughts are prayers that Spirit resonates with. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of mindfulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. And every thought becomes our prayer.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Bonnie, the Community Spiritual Leader here at the Center, and it is such a joy to welcome you all here to the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, where our vision is a world in loving partnership for the good of all. I'd like to welcome anyone visiting for the first time today. We have packets in the back that include a bookstore gift certificate, so check those out. Pick up a bag on your way out. And if you want to know all the details of what's going on, please read the newsletter. If you don't get the newsletter, let us know. We can get you signed up for it. It comes in your email every week. And we have a special going on with cards in the bookstore. We marked a whole rack down to $2, and then there's a new rack with new cards that, of course, is the full price, but there are some new cards that you haven't seen, so check that out as well. Our book study on community continues to be an amazing place to share what it is that we are wanting to see this community evolve to as we study different ways to let community emerge from within us from 4 to 5 on Thursdays. Today, we will have a new member orientation, so anyone who is not yet a member and would like to join, please come to that after the service. And we are, as you can see in the back, accepting items for the treasure sale, and Janice, wave at us, is coordinating all of this, and so if you can help her out, she'll be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 to 2. She also put a sign-up sheet on the table in the social hall for helping at the actual event. The setup, yes? Monday through Friday, so help her out. She's going to be here every day this week, 10 to 2. Anyone who wants to help sort and price, they're getting everything ready to go and piling it in the back, and then it'll be ready to put out the morning of the 29th, which will be the treasure sale itself. And like I said, sign up to help out so she knows how to reach you all if you are going to be able to be here for the actual sale itself. And we are thinking about our annual meeting. I think some of you already received the letter. If you're a member, you should have received your letters pretty soon. They should be showing up if you didn't already. If you are a member and haven't received a letter this week, please let us know. We'll want to make sure that you get that. And we are also looking at some potential new board members to be voted on. And if you are interested in being a board member, please see us if we haven't already put your name on that list. And this week is the New Thought Luncheon, Thursday at 11:30 here at the center, potluck. So please come and we will just get together and socialize over lunch. I believe that's all the great announcements for today, so please welcome our practitioner service, Tina.
Thank you. Good morning. Aren't we in the right place? Yes. Aren't we glad we're in the right place? Yes. So it really is truly my pleasure to be here. Those of you that have been here and are longtime members of this center and this philosophy, you know that a stalwart of our philosophy is prayer. We know that prayer works, and we call it spiritual mind treatment or affirmative treatments, affirmative prayer. We have this fabulous group of 4 New Thought communities that get together on Tuesdays for 45 minutes. And we take prayer requests from all 4 centers, and we offer, among this group, we do prayer work with you and see the truth of who you are. So we encourage you to put a prayer request in. Some of the forms are behind the chairs, some of them are on the table by the door, and you can also submit it on the website. Please do. We love to pray, and we know prayer works. Also, when you see the result of your prayer, no matter what it looks like, it's good to acknowledge it. So we have gratitude cards. And we love to hear those too. And if you want to share it with everyone, I'm sure there's a way you can do that. But we just love to do this with you guys. And there are prayer warriors available after service. We're wearing these stoles. I think there's 4 of us here. So if you have something going on in your life and you want a mini treatment, 1 to 2 minutes, we'll be around the room. Just meet with us, and we love to get to know you and love to do prayer. So now it is time for song, silence, and prayer.
Open my eyes to see the glory here, oh God. to see the glory.
What a glorious place to be as we know Spirit is in this room, flowing in, through, and around each of us. We are these magnificent divine expressions of Spirit, each one of us. And we come together to share that knowingness, to see that truth within each other, giving a gift to the greater community. And I know this is so good, so very, very good. And I'm grateful to be here. Life is grand, life is blessed. And it is so. For my reading this morning, whenever I get to do a reading, I just let Spirit guide me to our bookcase and show me what book to pick out. I was surprised this morning when I was led to Dan Millman's The Laws of Spirit. And then I had a big aha. I said, okay, if I let Spirit guide me to get these words, why am I not doing it in my life? Why do I start every day off at a roar, thinking that I have to do it all myself? So during the meditation that Doug led, I anchored that within myself to remember that and to go hand in hand with Spirit all day long, every day. So the first reading is the law of surrender, embracing a higher will. Surrender means accepting this moment, this body, and this life with open arms. Surrender involves getting out of our own way and living in accord with a higher will, expressed as the wisdom of the heart. For more than passive acceptance, surrender uses every challenge as a means of personal spiritual growth and expanded awareness. And also the law of unity, remembering our connection. We appear on earth as separate beings with divine destinies. But as each separate raindrop is a part of the sea, so are we each a part of the ocean of awareness, the body of God. Find love and inner peace deep within the highest. With that, we are all one family. Leave behind the baggage of fear, envy, and resentment. Fly aloft on wings of understanding to enter the boundless land of compassion.
Yvette, this would be your cue.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Before you speak.
All in divine right order, right? Yes. I needed to wait for the call. I love it. Good morning, everyone. This song is called Whatever It Takes by Jenna Stanfield and Tim Bays, and I am honored to be participating in the book study on the community book. So this is all about that juicy, yummy feeling of community. Whatever it takes, I'll do whatever it takes for you to help you grow strong, to help you hold on. I'll do whatever it takes, no matter how much you need you, to help you grow strong, to help you hold on. I'll do whatever it takes for you, whatever it takes for you, to help you grow strong, to help you hold on. I'll do whatever, join in, for you, whatever it takes for you, to help you grow strong, to help you hold on. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll do whatever it takes for you, to help you grow strong, to help you hold on. I'll do whatever it takes.
So that is Yvette Trujillo. Thank you, Yvette. And I
Thank
should have
you.
introduced her before she sang. I'm so sorry. You don't need to get down because you are next. Yvette Trujillo is a student of New Thought for over 20 years. She's a musician, as we just saw, religious science practitioner, and ministerial student. Yvette's mission is to reveal humanity's inherent compassion and loving kindness. And I want to welcome her mother, Connie, here as well today. We're so glad to have her here. The person that brought this gorgeous person to us. Yvette, welcome Yvette Trujillo.
I've talked about her so much, I finally had to get her here. Good morning, everyone. It's lovely to see your faces. It's wonderful to be sharing space with you this morning. I got to get all my, my things to remind me of stop talking. All right, well, as you all know, if you've been following along this month, what we're talking about is the power of vulnerability. And in these rooms, in these spaces, we do refer a lot to our personal transformation, right? That we do the inner reflection, we do the work to understand ourselves so that we may experience a transformation of ourselves, of our own lives. And today, as we did last week with Reverend Bonnie, we recognize that vulnerability is also a key ingredient in creating a deep and thriving community. So we're taking it from the stuff that we've been doing, that we do, that we practice, that we talk about within ourselves, and we're expanding it beyond ourselves. We had a beautiful meditation this morning with Doug, and he reminded us that who we are, the energy of who we are, could fill this room and set a beautiful tone and make a container, this is my word, make a container, create a container of our love, of our essence, of our energy. And so what we're talking about today is allowing ourselves and doing the work within ourselves to expand our vulnerability and the goodness that comes from that work beyond ourselves and into our community. And we do that so that we can create these beautiful communities that are made up of belonging and connection and authenticity, where we get to show up as fully ourselves without the armor, with the whatever we do, the different way that we talk in our work and we show up, the goofiness that we might do with our kids but not in other places, but that we can create a space where our full authentic self is welcome. So we're putting all of that, talking about it within the idea of the power of vulnerability, and we're focusing in, we're putting it into the context of oneness. And so I want to share with you from our beloved Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of this philosophy of religious science. And this is from our Declaration of Principles, just to ground us in the context of what we're talking about today. And he says, "We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. We are one. One life, one power, one presence. We all show up as these beautiful, unique expressions with all of our eccentricities and our gifts and our weirdness and the things that annoy us about ourselves that we kind of try and tuck back into the shadow. All of that is that beautiful, individualized expression of God. Not any aspect of ourselves is somehow separate from the divine, is any less divine than the other. The stuff we like, the stuff we don't like, same. Okay, so that's the context of our conversation today, is our oneness. Now, when we first start talking about vulnerability, y'all, like, it doesn't sound real fun, right? Like, so you look it up, and it's like, if you're vulnerable, you're unprotected from harm. Yikes, right? Like, you need to get this software to protect your computer. You have to put the security system up to protect your house. You have all the things. But what if there was no need for protection from others? What if? If we can imagine ourselves in a community, in a space where we don't need protection from harm, because there is no danger among us, how magnificent would that be? And I'd like you to imagine something a little further out, okay? Stretching ourselves out, as Doug taught us this morning as we practiced in our meditation. Because I have a picture, y'all, in my head for a new world. When I was early on in this philosophy, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. I don't know where I'm supposed to serve or what I'm supposed to be doing to contribute. An invitation that I got was to consider the things that really bothered me, that really just impacted me. And so and they did invite me to do it from a negative perspective, so which is a little different from what we usually do. We think of, yay, and it's all God. But they invited me to look at something that was hard. And so as I started to look around, what I recognized is I would become very upset, when I would hear a story about children being harmed, or elderly folks being taken advantage of. And forget it if one of those ASPCA commercials came on, in the arms of the change the channel. I can't handle it. It just, the vulnerable people in the world being harmed just crushed me. It broke my heart. And so I said, what if we had a world where that didn't happen? What if we didn't have to protect children or the elderly or animals because there was no need? And so I want to invite you to go on a little imagining journey, because we're really good at this here. We're good at imagining. What might that look like? What might it look like beyond these walls? If we walked around our world, if we walked around Las Cruces, if we left Las Cruces and went to Albuquerque, far away, if we imagined across the land that there was no need for protection, that we could, in fact, walk around vulnerable, which wouldn't even be vulnerable, it would just be like how we walk around. Because we don't need protection. Imagine what that would be. When I saw that this was my call, that what I most wanted in the world was to create a world in which there were no stories like that, in which I didn't have to change the channel as soon as I heard Sarah McLachlan in that song and I knew that the animals were going to be harmed. And so I came to the conclusion that what we needed to have in order to not have those experiences is to walk around people, every single person knowing their wholeness. Every single person on this planet recognizing their sufficiency. Nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing broken. That they could see and recognize the abundance, the overflow of life everywhere. So I wasn't trying to keep mine. You weren't trying to take mine. What's my password? I mean, just imagine. What might that look like? What could that feel like? This is the work that we do here. This, in my mind, the way that I look upon this philosophy and these rooms, this is the work that we are doing. We are creating a world where there is no need to protect ourselves, where vulnerability is the norm. But we have to begin somewhere, yeah? So let's first talk about taking a look at ourselves, keeping that beautiful ideal in mind, that idea of a world where everyone knows their wholeness and no one needs protecting. When we look at ourselves in this context of oneness and vulnerability, and we're talking about community, right? This is the conversation that we've been having, is community. That by looking at ourselves, by nurturing our communities so that they can become places of healing, places where that revealing of wholeness happens and can be recognized, then this beautiful dream of mine can be achieved. And from this book, y'all have been hearing about this book. It's been a long time since I've had a book that was just like, oh, I think about it that way before. So I just want to share a little snippet. From page 60. When I develop prescriptions for their transformation, I am making them the cause of our troubles. I am expressing the belief that if those people were different, our organization, our community would be better. If only. If only. So one of the things that we practice, as I mentioned before, is personal reflection. We do that here. We look within, right? We're curious. We're like spelunkers, you know, those people that go into caves, or you're excavating your own life. You're like chopping away the dirt to see like what's the core of who you are. So personal reflection is something that if you've been in these rooms at all, or, you know, maybe you came here because you've been reading some stuff, you know that personal reflection is a really useful way to understand ourselves better. And another thing that we talk about here is responsibility. That's right up there with vulnerability, yeah? Those are two of my favorite subjects. No. So we talk about these things, and they are key. These two things, this work of personal reflection and the work of taking responsibility for our life and our experience, these are key, not just to knowing ourselves, but also to understanding ourselves in relationship with one another. They're key. When we are taking responsibility and when we are doing self-reflection, when we're engaged with other people, we can begin to see experiences where we might say, ooh, oops, I'm sorry. That wasn't my best moment. I didn't do that very well, did I? I'm going to try and do better. That's vulnerability. It's a willingness to see from another person's perspective, to stand in another person's shoes. And it's important for us to remember that intention does not equal impact. We can have beautiful intentions, and sometimes we still cause harm. And The expanded, transformed perception and work to do is to recognize our responsibility for that and to begin to do the self-reflection of like, wow, what made that possible? What are my limiting beliefs that might be operating around what I'm doing that is causing harm, right? Because you can see patterns in yourself if you're willing, if you are open and honest with yourself. What are my limiting beliefs? What are my biases? What are the frameworks that I'm operating from that would allow that to happen? And I have a very uncomfortable experience to share with you as my story today. You know, speaking about vulnerability and all. My lovely wife has a certain way of being, and I have a different way of being. And I am very certain that the way that I do things is right. I mean, you know, I've been in here for years, been doing this. I do that inner work, because she does too. But, you know, I'm in ministerial school, and I'm a practitioner. And I think that I know the best way. And so not that long ago, unfortunately, not that long ago, I found myself in an argument with my wife, getting very upset because she wasn't doing what clearly we had already talked about she should do to fix the problem that was going on. And I was irritated and I was angry and I raised my voice and I said some not so nice things. And I walked away. And by the grace of God, I was able to step back, step in her shoes, and imagine, I saw the look in her eyes, imagine the impact that I had in that moment, in the way that I spoke to her, in the way that I dishonored her way. And I realized that the framework that I was operating from was, I'm right. I'm right. And if you're not doing the thing that I've said to you is right, then and what you're doing is impacting me, then surely you don't care about me or us. That is what I was operating from. That is what gave me permission to go be a jerk. And so I was able to walk back, and honestly, this is hard for me. I was able to walk back and say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve that from me. You never deserve to be spoken to that way. I honor you. You're a brilliant woman. I'm sorry. And I recognized through my work that the way that I was being with her, and a lot of people, quite frankly, I do that. The way that I was being with her was really impacting the way that we could show up with one another. It was impacting how vulnerable we could be with one another. Who wants to be vulnerable when somebody's being a jerk to your face and when you're just like, I'm doing my thing. This is what I'm going to do or not do, or I'm scared or I'm worried. It doesn't create space for that vulnerability to show up when I show up that way. And so I was called to expand my awareness to recognize how who she was being wasn't a mistake, wasn't wrong, it was divine. She's perfect, whole, and complete just like I am, and everything that she does is within God. So there are no mistakes. There is nothing wrong. And when I do that, when I do the work of recognizing, of taking responsibility, of expanding my awareness, of knowing what it is that I've done and what the framework is that I've operated from, now I can have a deeper experience of connection and community and deepen a sense of belonging and connection to one another. Because I was willing to do that work. This is the work of being vulnerable enough to see yourself and vulnerable enough to say, I'm sorry. And this expands our experience of connection. The other thing that we want to do is pay attention to how we're seeing the other. Doug, again, you're so brilliant this morning, talked about, the people that are challenging. we can recognize that the people that are challenging in our lives are also the divine. But somehow our initial response, and I'm not blaming us, y'all, this happens. This is just the way that we're operating. It's the world in which we're living. And this can happen very easily, that when we meet someone, the first thing we're trying to do is evaluate, how are you different from me? Or how are you the same as me? Which is the same thing, because then if you're not, what's different? And once I know where you fit in that category, I want to get a category for you and I want to put you there, then I know how I'm going to be in relationship with you. I don't know if that lands ooky with you, but it really does with me. Because then what I begin to do is curate very carefully the circle of people that I spend time with. I curate them in such a way that I am always very comfortable and that they are very much like me. That's my experience. And then I began this thing, which is, thinking about people as they should be. How can you do that? Are you kidding me? How in the world? Because I know that this way over here on my side is the right way and the best way, right? So we are called in this transformational process in vulnerability. We are called to not see people as they should be, which is not easy. This philosophy, as we always say, is not for the faint of heart. This is a working philosophy. Our work is not to see people as they should be or even as their potential. Oh, he's so great. And he's this and he's that. And I know within him is the potential to, bring me flowers or make this much money or to pick up the trash and put it outside. There is a potential for him or her to be something. But when we're doing that, we're seeing them through judgmental eyes. Right? We're judging them as less than, as not meeting an ideal. And the call, the invitation in this conversation of vulnerability in this container of oneness, is to soften our gaze when we look upon the other. Soften our gaze and not seek to identify the difference or to categorize them, but instead to recognize and be aware that just like me, each of these people are a unique expression of God. Perfect, whole, and complete. Each of them, no matter what side of whatever they're on, no matter the way they do or don't do, every single, right? That's what we teach. Yeah? It's all God. It's all God. And so even the people that tick us off, that we don't agree with at our core, are perfect right now. Nothing missing, nothing needed. And when we do that, when we can stand in the awareness of their unique expression, that they are connected to the whole just like I am, then we create these beautiful communities. Then we create these spirits and these vibrations of a place where all is welcome and we can show up just as we are in our messiness, with our warts and all. We can show up with one another. And then we need to be vigilant, right? So we create a beautiful space where we're welcome and yes, you're welcome to be vulnerable and I'm welcome to be vulnerable. But then we have to be vigilant. We have to make sure to care for that space. And if we start stepping away from that way of being, the acceptance of one another, then we have to call it what it is, lovingly and kindly, but not with any BS. This is a space of safety, of welcoming, of vulnerability. And what we do here is we see one another as that divine expression of God. We have to be responsible for that. We have to hold that. It's not Reverend Bonnie's job to do it. It's not the practitioner body's job to do it. Just like it's not just their job to I see all is God, and I'm seeing myself, and I'm sorry, and wow, I could fix that. And it's not just their job, it's all of our job. Right? We take responsibility for the experience that we want to have in this community, and we take responsibility for the experience we want to have in our world, however far away that might look like. We take responsibility, and it is these steps of honoring and taking care of these containers where we can be fully ourselves. And then there's that space in between. So we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then somebody else sees that, and you're like, okay, and you can be too. And they're like, okay, are you sure? And you're in this space, and everybody's being vulnerable, and I'm showing you all my warts, the whole thing, my messiness. In that is the juiciness of community. That is the juiciness of community. But this is we call it a sandbox. It's like a beta test of a new system, right? When I have a customer service relations system that I work in, and we're going to have a new one, and we're going to transfer all our data from the old one into the new one. Before we do that, ideally, we have a space where we can play. We have a space where we can go in and try and break it. We can practice. We can do all the things, and you're like, oh, that didn't work. But it's a safe space. You're like, oh, that didn't work. Oh, fantastic. We're going to work on that. We're going to make it better. So this community gets to be that beautiful sandbox where we practice. We practice this work of being vulnerable with one another. We practice being present to one another, to listening to each other, to really listening for the purpose of connection. Instead of, as someone else is talking, I'm preparing my response. And what are they saying? I kind of got a hint of it, and I don't agree. So I'm preparing what I'm going to say to you to convince you of my side, or just how I'm going to respond, versus listening for the purpose of connection, of heart-to-heart connection. This is the work in the sandbox. To practice, to fall on your face, to say, I'm sorry. I will try better next time. And for the other person to stand across from you and say, thank you. And then you jump right back in. And you do it again and again and again, because it takes practice for us to get good at this. It takes practice for us to be better at being vulnerable with one another. So that why? Why do we do this work that's really uncomfortable? For the vision of that world where not any one of us needs to be protected from each other. No dogs are being abused. No babies are being harmed. No elderly people are being taken advantage of. That world, that magnificent experience of heaven, we get to create that in our community now. And then it expands, and it expands, and it expands. And lo and behold, we did it. We did it. Feel that, imagine that, right? What's prayer? We imagine it as if it is already done. We have created a world where vulnerability is the norm. I show up 100% of the time as myself fully. And you may not like it all the time, and that's okay. And you may not agree with me all the time, and that's okay. There's still no need to protect ourselves. And so it takes practice. I invite you to think about what kind of practice it might take you to begin to do that inner reflection, to take responsibility for the way that you're showing up in your relationships. We're not like looking at you to flog yourself. Like, that's not it. We're not the penitentes. We're not doing that. It's just to recognize, just to see. And then here's a good one. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable anyway, but we think we can control everything. But that doesn't get us anywhere. So my invitation is to get comfortable with the uncomfortable and recognize the power of vulnerability to create a beautiful space of connection, a beautiful space of belonging and authenticity. This is a world that we can, and indeed do, whether you're paying attention or not, create. This is a world where we all know our wholeness and where we watch out for one another. Be vulnerable today. Be strong today. Create that world for all of us today. Namaste.
Wow, perfect. As I was listening to that, I was picturing, what a great idea. We know about mental equivalence, we know about creating that world that works for everyone, but to see that space where no one needs to be protected, I love that idea. So let's take that as the practitioners surround this room with the love that we know comes from everyone sitting in this room. They're just reflecting it back to you in this moment and holding that space. And let's just go within and opening our hearts and minds to the full awareness, first of who we are, God expressing, who our neighbors are, God expressing, and who those people are that challenge us, God expressing. And as we take the words of Yvette into our hearts and minds, we allow ourselves to see in our mind's eye, to feel in our bodies that world where no one is harmed, where there's no need for protection, that we walk freely and easily, smiling at each other, seeing that light of God in the eyes of every person that we meet. And what a beautiful idea that we practice here, that this space, the Center for Spiritual Living in the heart of Las Cruces, that this space where we have come together as community is that playground, sandbox, where we get to practice with each other. And so we see that light of God expressing in each person we meet here today and throughout the weeks and each Sunday as we come back together. We see that light of God in the practitioners and the board members, in the musicians, the people running the tech, and each person who sits out there and takes in these words and allows them to move through them out into the world. We take this teaching, this practice, and we see it expand. What a beautiful world we are creating right now, right here. The fact that we can see it means it is already so in the mind of God. And so we allow the practice to take place in and through us. And we allow ourselves to move into that space of gratitude because we can see it. We know it is so. And we just revel in the feeling and the knowing as together we say, and so it is. Thank you all. Thank you, practitioners.
This is a song by Lauren Daigle. It's called Everything. It is certainly in the spirit of knowing our wholeness and knowing our perfection, and that all of our needs at every moment are provided. Even the sparrow has a place to lay its head. So why would I let worry steal my breath? Even the roses have been clothed in brilliant red, and I'm the one you love just like this. Yes, you are everything I need. You give me everything. You give me everything. You give me everything I need. You give me everything. You give me everything. You give me everything I need. You give me everything I need. You give me everything. You give me everything I need.
Yvette Trujillo, thank you for your music, your words, your message, being you. Ooh, brought tears to my eyes right there at the very end. Thank you for being here to support her. What an amazing morning. And I just love this community. I love seeing people back in their seats. And welcome to the Zoom people and those who watch us later on YouTube. We are all community no matter how we're showing up, where we're showing up, and how we're coming together. I'm so grateful. And at this time is when we consider giving back to this beautiful space that supports us and allow us to keep these lights on, these doors open, and do the work, providing a safe space for ourselves to gather. So there are bowls at both doors that you can drop your offering in. And I think it's just perfect that this month we are giving to action programs for animals. After Yvette shared her feelings. So, actually that was from last month and they thanked us. Sorry, I have a thank you from them. I got a beautiful thank you. And was that the one that was in the paper? Oh, the Children's Reading Alliance thanked us in the paper for our contribution. So how good it is to know that we're serving our community in all these different ways. This month is the Las Cruces Public Schools Foundation. And with them, they serve as a private partner with the district to provide funds to the community of learners in the Las Cruces public schools to support and enhance the educational experiences of students, to promote innovation in the classroom, to increase community involvement in education and pursue and recognize excellence in teaching and learning. So that is this month. The action item for animals was last month. But it's all good. 10% of anything that comes in and through the center, we're putting back out into our community because we're part of this community. And I am just so grateful for the work that we can do in that way as well. Not only we get to have lights and heat and cooling, but we get to help serve our greater community because we want to see that world that works for everyone, that world where we don't have to protect each other, but we naturally do that. That's the way we live. How grateful I am. Let's say our gratitude statement together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, in me. And let's sing, I am so blessed.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so
We're certainly blessed by you being here this morning. Thank you so much. Yay, and we love that she's joining us on Zoom for our community gatherings as well on Thursdays. And you are welcome to jump in. We're working on chapter 5, I believe, this week, but you're more than welcome to join in through Zoom or in person. Continue this discussion. And so now let's stand and sing our closing song, the peace song. And remember, we have a new member orientation after the service, and practitioners, we've got a nice room full of them, are ready to pray with you after the service. For filling in for Bob. Thank you.